what it is. Want to welcome you guys down to another episode of the main show, Wayvy Grayvy. You with your boy Daryl Edmund Oathbreaker Co. Want to bring to you guys Heaven Brought Me Hell.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Hello, everyone.
I mean, what a name, Heaven Brought Me Hell. This is the story of our lives, man. And straight away, I want to bring this in. Origin story, guys. I love to know the origin story of all the bands, and tell me how did you piece together and now we have Heaven Brought Me Hell. How did it happen?
You can go first, Irene.
Oh, alright, man. So we were all just studying in the same school. So that was pretty much 12, 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Pravin, our guitarist, Benson, drummer, Haritz, bassist, they were 1 year my senior in school. So Northview Secondary School, Northside represent. Alright, Northside. Yeah, so they were pretty much my senior. We had a mutual friend who sort of connected us together. It was also because of music.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were already playing in the same band together. And I was just that guy who was starting out. So we were like 12 years old kid, playing bass guitar. So I just decided to check them out because they were jamming. And then they were playing Avenged Sevenfold songs. And I was like, okay, cool, man. First time, I was like 14 years old looking at bands playing like Chapter 4 Unholy Confession. I was pretty stoked, man. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I thought it would be dope to, get to know them even better. So things sort of evolved that way.
Yeah, that's true actually. To add on to Hari's point, like when we were in secondary school, so actually there's two more members like he mentioned just now, Benson and Haritz. They're not here now, but the both of them initially were actually playing in a pop punk band or like a punk band, I think, called Shame for Fame in secondary school. And that was I think I was in Sec 3. So we were just hanging out in class and I found out they were making music. And I used to listen to I just got into Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that also. And I found out that Benson plays the Avenged Sevenfold drum covers and stuff like that. So I started getting very intrigued. And then they were like, we need a guitarist, you want to join us? And I'm like, but I don't know how to play guitar.
At that point in time you didn't know?
I had no idea how to play guitar, but I just love that kind of music. And they were like, it's cool, we will teach you how to play, then you just come and join us. And then I'm like, okay, sure. So that same day itself, after I said okay, Haritz, our other now he plays bass, but he was guitarist back then. He brought over his acoustic guitar to my place. He gave it to me. He's like, this is how you read tabs. He taught me how to read tabs, and then he's like, you can borrow the guitar, just go and practice. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, so we did practice in the end. Then after we got together, started playing and all that. And then I think it was about 3 or 4 months later when we all started hanging out, when we met for the first time. And yeah, I think we all bonded over our combined love for Avenged Sevenfold. Really, we all loved that
was
band.
the initial start.
Yeah.
The fact that we share the same love for this particular band, right? And then we decided, you know what, we want to jam their songs.
Yep.
That's what sort of brought us together.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I remember I saw your Avenged Sevenfold underwear, your boxer.
I was that kind of fan, man.
I was all out with all their merch and stuff.
And so when we first met for the first time, I was just like, I walked past him and then I saw his Avenged Sevenfold boxer and then I just went, hey, nice boxers, bro.
Why you looking at boxers? First time you meet, you check out someone's boxers.
No, because we were sitting under a block, so you sit at the table.
Then the shirt up.
Yeah, the shirt up, you can see a bit. Then I was like, hey, that icon looks familiar. And then after that, I'm like, Avenged Sevenfold.
The first thing you see.
Yeah, so that's how we found out that we all love Avenged Sevenfold.
I mean, you keep it close to you lah.
Yes. Yeah, and then I think after that, we pretty much finalized the lineup then, which was me, him, Benson and Haritz. And then we had another friend back then who was singing with us. His name is Ashraf, but he's not part of the band anymore, but he's still one of our close friends. And eventually we shuffled it to having Hairi on vocals because he was the only person that can scream the best out of all of us. And on top of that,
I couldn't sing. I wish I could sing. Then we would be a singing band.
Yeah,
but I feel I could scream better than I could sing.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, if it works, it works, man.
And I mean, you're taking singing lessons now. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm taking singing lessons now.
Okay.
What's the guy's name again?
Ron Anderson.
Ron Anderson. Yeah. Shout out, Ron Anderson.
Ron Anderson is actually the vocal coach for Matt Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold. And Matt Heafy also from Trivial.
Matt Heafy also?
Yeah, so they always talk about that coach. So I mentioned it to him. I'm like, bro, if you want to go start singing, just go check out that guy. Apparently he has YouTube videos and tutorials. But he, Hairi in Hairi fashion, always dives in 100%. So he just signed up for the entire, the course.
He's all in. Go hard item.
Yeah, and then eventually after the band was formed, we played for a while, went through a few lineup changes, including with his sister as well, their sister as well. and eventually I think after she like couldn't continue with the band, he stepped up to join us on the guitars. So that's how we ended up together. And then you can tell them about like the HBMH part because I wasn't there for that part.
Yeah, very. I like the name. I just wonder how you guys came up with Heaven Brought Me Hell.
Okay, so Heaven Brought Me Hell, we started off as a 4-piece band. So HBMH was actually the initials to the founding members lah. So there's me, Hyrie, Benson. Then we had our original bassist Murali, M. And then we got our current bassist Harit. So that's HBMH. So there was one particular night we were just sitting under the void deck, thinking of like band names. So we're like, okay, how about we use our initials? So it was like HBMH, there was like BMHH, different combinations that you could think of. And we wanted the fiercest one. HBMH sounded cool, so we just started fixing words to like sort of make HBMH work. So Heaven Brought Me Hell came about.
It's always under the void deck, no?
Yeah, it was like void deck energy,
inspiration.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how the name came about.
Alright.
Yeah.
I mean, initially we thought it was a because it was a 14, 15-year-old idea. And when we came out with the idea, we thought like, wow, it sounds very funny. But then as we grew and we started playing more shows, and people were like, hey, dude, you got a cool band name. I was like, oh, is it? Yeah, I never thought about it. Like, I remember that. We always thought that the band name sounded funny.
The older you get, you more or less realize, Heaven Brought Me Hell, yes. I can relate to that shit.
Yeah.
Just from the name itself. I think you guys just stumbled upon a masterpiece over there.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
I
Cheers,
wasn't
cheers.
just that. Cheers.
Cheers as well.
Cheers.
There we go. There is no alcohol in that. No.
Yeah, he's only 17.
That's right. From the Owl Club. Excuse me, 18. Even though you're legal, no alcohol. Yes.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention something just now. We talked. Oh, the void deck days. So like, actually, you like made a damn good point, bro. Cause like I think 90% of HBMH's experiences as a band has been under void decks. Like we used to meet every day, like legit, cause we all live close by each other. So we all stay like one block apart. So we used to have like this common Pondo area and like the blocks there that we used to hang out and write songs underneath.
363.
363.
That was shout out. That was the OG Yishun block.
Yeah.
That hosted Heaven Brought Me Hell for about a good 5-6 years.
Yeah, because it was a study corner, so there were other people studying at the side, and we'll be there.
Writing
music.
How now those people pass the exam now?
Hopefully,
I'm sure they all pass.
We serenade them, right?
Yeah, we were serenading them. We actually have a funny story about like the secret story from the like this machi.
Oh yes.
That is a pretty funny story. Like so a long time ago when we were first starting out, before HBMH, but we were still all playing music together. I'm sitting under this block, writing the first ever song we ever released called Bloodlust. It's on our SoundCloud also, so you can actually check it out there. Alright. Yeah, so we were writing with acoustic guitars. So, and it's like heavier music and stuff. So we're just playing it, and it's the three of us, me, him, and then our other friend Anik, who used to be bassist for the band as well. We were sitting down writing the song, and this Machi just came back, she went to the shop or something, and she was walking back, and she stopped for a while. She looked at us, she was like, "Hey boys, you all doing a very good job. Very nice to know what you're playing." And then we were like, "What?" Like, yeah, thank you.
Got tudung, don't have tudung.
Don't have tudung.
No, but she got like the batik shirt. I remember she got like those butterfly thingy or butterfly.
Oh, that kind of the dress one.
That's right.
Okay, can.
Right. Yeah. So she came up to us, and then she was just telling us like how it's nice to see that we are not being troublemakers. We are just trying to make music under the block and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Man.
Which is a bit ironic when you find out what she did after that, which was she rewarded us with 3 Marlboro Red cigarettes.
Machi also.
That was really. I mean, on that day it was awesome.
Yeah.
Because the fact now that when I thought about it, is that we got paid, dude. Like we got paid in cigarette.
Yeah.
That day by a Machi.
How old were y'all?
We're like 16.
I mean, obviously y'all didn't smoke then. She gave you cigarettes, but y'all didn't smoke because underage.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, right?
We gave it to somebody else.
Obviously.
We didn't go up to the top of the block. We didn't do any of that.
Why would y'all do? Y'all are law-abiding citizens.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes,
Exactly.
100%.
But shout out to the Machi, man.
Yeah, shout out to that Machi. I hope she's fine wherever she is.
Shit. Okay. Nice. And the thing is, progressive, right? Yes, progressive technical metal. When it comes to the different sub-genres in metal, coming down to the layman, metal is metal. You show them Metallica, you show them Dimmu Borgir, is metal. But for those in the know, we know what the differences are. But if you can, just highlight to everyone out there, progressive technical metal. What exactly does that encompass? What is that?
To be fair, I do not know who came out with that genre. I mean, I'm just the guy who writes all the info down, but I do not know who came out with progressive technical metal.
I think it might have been me.
It might be you, but to me, metal is metal. I think personally, I think the band is really close to being a metalcore band. I
Okay.
think from the way we
More-
structure our songs, the instruments that we use, some bells here and there.
Modern metalcore.
Yeah, maybe it's modern.
Modern metalcore. Okay.
Yeah, I think I probably would have come up with that term just because like
It sounded
because,
cool, dude. Progressive,
yeah, it sounded cool.
technical,
And-
more like fierce a bit.
Yeah, and like cause there were so many elements in like the songs anyway that we were making that, I think like when we talked about it yesterday also, you mentioned like it doesn't necessarily belong in one genre, but it belongs in like a few other genres together. So I
it's
figured,
like you piece up a few,
Yeah.
but the progressive part I can tell. I mean, when people listen to your songs, how you build up. You got the instrumentals and then the in between to the song. It's really progressive. I mean, if people understand what progressive is, they will get it. And some things you just have to really learn and listen to it. But
Yeah.
progressive, I really get it from these guys
Mhm.
over here. Technical itself, I listen to your shit like Molande.
Now, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think
like-
we sound like?
like if you put us in the genre,
Well, I'll put you in a genre. Progressive is definitely there,
Mhm.
but I would also add melodic in.
Yeah.
No, your
Yeah, I
melodic
think
sounds.
so too.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
that's true.
I'm
Yeah.
biased towards melodic. So the technical part, the metal, progressive, melodic, technical metal. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like what you said lah. Metal is metal. It's just the different subcultures. But if you really want to break it down, I would add melodic into that because I really think you guys are melodic.
yeah, actually, yeah, true. I think
Yeah.
that's why we mentioned it also lah. Like the symphonic parts and all that are part of the progressive style, but actually melodic is a good point. We should probably just call ourselves melodic metalcore. Right?
Yeah.
Progressive melodic metalcore. Just call ourselves metal. Like,
Metal is metal.
Yeah, genres become
Yeah.
very, very, very confusing. all the
We don't really
subdivisions.
focus on the sound when we make.
Mm.
I mean, it's sort of we just create it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it sounds like how it sounds. Yeah, whatever we feel is good is good.
But I think there are a lot of bands out there also like they're classified under certain sub genre. But when you ask them like, no, I'm not. That's not us. Right? But yeah, so at the end of the day, I think you shouldn't label bands to their whatever subgenre they are, but just fuck it lah. You like, you listen to them lah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
that's right.
I think the
Don't
genre
labels,
aspect, exactly. The genre aspect is mainly for like the marketing business side of like the music. I think probably when they want to know where to slot you in on like Spotify playlist or
Yeah.
something like that. But from the band's point of view or songwriting point of view, I think you're right. But like genres just being, it shouldn't actually necessarily like dictate how we create stuff.
If I may be so bold as to state, I mean, look at the current situation in the world right now when you add labels to things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, I won't go too far yet lah, but when you start label shit. Well, moving on anyway.
Yeah, that's a damn good point, bro.
What you guys took a 5-year break, and the metal scene in Singapore, it's ever changing. I mean, what have you all realized back? Because for me, I've been listening to metal and also I more or less evolved with it, so I can't really tell the difference. But for you guys, you've been out of it as a band, as a musician in the scene. How was it back then compared to now? Like what are the changes that you see?
I think before we took the five-year hiatus, right? That was like pre-COVID, 2015, when we recorded our last song before the 5-year break. So prior to 2015, we were pretty active, man. I think we started the band in 2009. Then after that, it was really a good 6 years of just writing and performing shows. Whatever show we could get, we were there. You know what I mean? So there was one time we were playing like 2 months straight every weekend.
Wow.
So that was pretty dope, man. Because
Best times,
we were like studying in the same school in the same course. So Monday to Friday, we'll go to school, but we look forward to every Friday. You know what I mean? Like every Friday will be jamming days, and then weekends will be the shows. And it was like that for like 8 weeks straight. And then for the 6 years, it was pretty much just like that. And then when we reunited the band 2019, we started writing and recording Life of Creation. Of course, we had the intention to play shows, but that was pre-COVID, so we didn't know what was going to happen.
Exactly.
But then when COVID happened, Life of Creation was released, and then no shows at the moment. Everything was sort of stalled down. So at the moment, I haven't been to any gigs, man. Like post-COVID situation.
Nothing yet. Everything is just online.
Yeah, everything is just online.
But I think it's different as a band. Like I talked to a few other bands. When you play a live stream, you need to have the audience when you play. Like you
Yeah,
need
the
to
energy
have
is important.
energy
Yeah,
and the
you
connection,
gotta
right?
feel that connection.
100%.
I mean, that's definitely the most fun part about being a band, I think. Like when we were performing, I think those were the best times, being on stage performing.
So I think the main difference from 5 years and up to now will be COVID lah. It's I think it's fucked up everything else also lah.
Yeah, I also think that because when we used to play back then in 2012, like I think at the risk of getting like upsetting anybody, but back then the scene tended to be a little bit more compartmentalized. People are a lot more segregated into their own like sub-genre groups or stuff like that. And this is we're not saying this baselessly. There's literally been a time where we've been playing a show, we were playing a gig, and this vocalist from this other band, we don't know what we did to him. We didn't do anything at all. While we were playing our show, he just walked to the front of the stage, he pointed middle fingers at us, and like he was like, "Fuck you guys," and then he just walked out. Yeah, and I think we were playing a band sample something. We were covering like a A7X song.
Okay.
And then half of the crowd that was there, I think 80% of the crowd walked out with him. Like when we were playing, and we didn't know why, but
it was pretty cool, man. Like
yeah, it was
the thought of it
fun.
now is pretty cool. Like, wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, someone flipped us.
Like to go through that. So it's a pretty funny story, because then we were used by then to like, playing varying amounts of people in the show. Like sometimes there's only like 5 people there, and you still play like like your best to.
Yeah, it's true. Your performance level doesn't change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. So we just continued playing, and we were like just laughing about it, like what the fuck was that? And then the last song of the set, because back then we used to always drop like a cover song for the last song of our set, and it was Diamonds Aren't Forever by Bring Me the Horizon. And at that point in time, that was like always the crowd favorite. So every time that song came on, any band that plays it, the place gets packed. So the funniest thing was the 80% of the people that walked out with this vocalist, when we started playing Diamonds and like he started chanting the intro line, I think all of them came back in except the vocalist.
I think that was the middle finger to him.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, so then we played that show, it was amazing, and we have photos of like, them like putting up diamonds and stuff.
Cool.
So it turned out well. That was back then. And then after that, because I got a chance to go to a couple of gigs at Decline before it closed down. Rest in peace, Decline. It was a really cool place, man. Yeah, it was a super cool place. And I think the one thing I noticed after that was when I went back to gigs, that everybody now in the scene are like, they are very, very welcoming and open, and there's more people actually, like it's grown, so it's nice to see that like everyone collectively in Singapore just understood like we need to support each other, and it's a nice place now.
That's true. I think that's how it should have been from before, because Singapore very small. Already the country is already so small, and the scene is even smaller. If you want to start stabbing each other behind the back, then nothing is going to progress. So I think it's one of the good things about the times now, that people are more supportive of each other, among all the other shitty things.
Yeah, it's like, what's that saying? I think the hardship brings people together, So
I guess it works that way. I'm gonna kick in the first song.
Okay, sure.
Obviously, since you guys are here, I will be playing Memento Mori.
Oh, 6.
Alright, so if you guys want to check out Memento Mori by Heaven Brought Me Hell, check it out. Peace. That was Memento Mori by these guys over here.
Yeah.
Fucking love that shit. You know, as I always say, check in the description below. You know, we've got all the bands, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, all the Instagram details are all there. Give these guys a follow, check them out. You will not regret. Also, Memento Mori, you know, you see a lot of people, they have this tattoo, you know, it means, you know, remember you will die. Very well known Latin phrase. And, you know, because the song is entitled, you know, like, what's the story behind that song?
Okay, just a little backstory of Memento Mori. It was actually a song that was written in 2015. So it was part of this EP that we were supposed to release, but we did not, of course, because we had the hiatus straight after recording 2 songs, which was supposed to be 5. So Memento Mori was already a song that was written musically. So we had the structure down, we had the title of the song down. So it was just the words that was left to be written and record vocals, but we stopped. So we just sort of have a song that was in the shelf, you know, for a while. And then when we sort of reunited back 2019, made a decision to record an album, we were like, okay, we have a bunch of songs that we've written before, not used up, let's take all of them out. So we got a good bunch of, I think, like 15, 20 songs. There was quite a bunch of songs that was just there, but was never recorded before. So we was like going through the shelf. I was like, okay, Memento Mori was definitely one of the songs that we knew that we needed to record, because it was just, for the most part, something we needed to hear for ourselves first. Because it sounded epic on the demo. So it was like, okay, how about, because 5 years after, I think Benson he had an awesome recording studio at his place.
Yeah, shout out Audio Smith Productions.
Audio Smith
Benson
Productions.
Right, check that one out.
It's amazing.
So Life of Creation was fully recorded at Audio Smith Production. So we thought, okay, how about Memento Mori recorded at this studio, man? Let's just make it sound right. But lyrically, I think when we were visiting the song back 4 years later, I was like, okay, Memento Mori. And of course, 4 years, a lot of things changed. I think if I was to write the song in 2015, it would be a totally different song. So I think everything happened as it should. So divine timing, I was where I should be writing Memento Mori. Then it sort of became one of the songs that I'm pretty proud of lyrically. Everything just sort of smooth sailing when it came to writing lyrics. So I try to make it a bit as spiritual as I can, spread some good positive knowledge. So if you guys notice, most of our song, we have these small parts of the song where we have this deep
like a narrative voice.
like a narrative deep
I love that
vocals.
shit,
So Praveen does all those vocals, and we try to like impart knowledge in our songs through these deep knowledge readings, man.
Yeah, like it's almost like, because when we wrote the album also, we wanted the entire album to be a deep dive into about yourself, like thinking about yourself. And we figured that maybe some of the themes in like lyrically what we talk about, written in like a more poetic way, could be a bit more difficult to decipher. So Heidi had the incredible idea of just having in like sections of songs where it's just knowledge, like, you know, you're just reading the explanation or like things to just help you think, like as though it was like a meditative like message or something.
Yes.
So we went for that, and with Memento Mori was like, it was actually the original name for the EP also in 2015. That was the draft name for the EP.
Alright.
But it didn't come out in the end. Like, we actually have like a couple of projects that we recorded like full albums, but we just didn't put out because of a lot of like ups and downs in like being a band.
Yeah.
It happens, I guess.
Yeah, and from my perspective also for Memento Mori, like writing that song is like, the song was already 80% written, and then just adding in all our extra stuff and like, you know, I think from a playing standpoint, it's the hardest HBMH song to play. Personally, it is. And it was even worse to try and record that song. It's like 260 BPM.
Shit.
And yeah, and it's like all arpeggios and like
you guys did
street
it, man.
skipping. So
Yeah, so it's dope, man.
Imagine the feeling you have when you halfway and when you're
It is.
hitting all the notes
Yeah.
while playing, like,
yeah, actually it is like during live, like when we jam and stuff, right, there'll be times where, you know, it all just clicks like perfectly. And the stops and the drops and all that, and we're just like, wow, this song is amazing, you know. And like, I don't think it's weird to love your own stuff, you know.
I think it's one of those feelings where if you don't play in a band, like you will never get it. Because there was once because my band usually we just jam covers like back then. So we went to this studio, I think it was Guest House. Guest House, or I forgot the name. Like, is it Bugis? Is right. It's upstairs. So we were jamming. Right? It came to one point where everything was just in place, felt in place to get, and it felt fucking awesome. And like, couldn't explain that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like after that, I was like, yeah, what the fuck was that? Yeah, I'm shook, sir. And that was just 3-piece only.
Nice.
And it was damn shook, sir.
And yeah,
So-
it's that pocket, right, bro? Like, you
Yeah,
know, when
man,
you
it's-
hit that pocket.
I think you have to feel it to know it.
Yeah.
lah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
the
a-
tightness.
Yeah, the tightness, exactly. It's a very rare, and that was actually one of the best advice we got when we were starting out as a band. Also from, I don't know if you remember this band Tambi KCL, bro. Yeah, the legends.
Fucking what is this? The shotgun song. I fucking love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Sebab
Sebab
Saya
Saya Shotgun.
Shotgun.
Sebab Saya Shotgun. That one is
Yeah.
one of my most favorite ballads till today.
Same.
The fucking solo, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck, bro?
Feels to
Yeah, they had Gibson endorsements for that guitar solo, and for that album when they made the song. So they were all like endorsed by Gibson.
Wow.
So they got loans from like Gibson, like so you can really hear the Les Paul tone in that guitar solo, you know.
The solo is like you
Yeah.
can really if let's say someone who doesn't understand Malay, right, listen to the song, they'll fucking think it's like a fucking sad song.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Yeah, genius.
Yeah, what about the
Genius.
thing he was telling you?
Oh yeah, so we actually Tambi KCL played a very very huge part in HBMH's growth as a band also. So we really need to shout them out. Like, thank you guys. You know, they were the first people, like, you know, back on MySpace days when we had
MySpace,
MySpace,
old school,
right?
bro.
Yeah. And we just had to upload stuff, and then there was this function where you can just press next page, and they will just take you to some random band that's like the following page. So I remember back then we used to do that, like go and comment on everyone's MySpace pages, and then we all came across this band called Tambi KCL on MySpace. Like, oh, Singaporean band, you see these 3 Indian guys in the sarong and all that. We're like,
Yeah,
what the
pretty
hell is
cool,
this
man.
about? Yeah.
Cool.
So then I remember reading one of the song titles was Yenada Pakre, which is
Okay.
which is the gangster song. Then so you all came across it at the same time. We started getting like super into the band, and then we found out we all decided actually the next time we see them playing a gig, let's try and book that same gig, which turned out to be I think our second gig ever that we played.
Okay.
And so when we walked there, I just shared this quick story before.
Yeah, don't do it, bro. Do it, please,
Yeah,
please.
so we walked there. Some of the coolest things was, you know, back then there was the pay to play system. Remember, we had to sell tickets if we want to play the show.
yes.
Yeah, so you had to sell like 10 tickets. So I remember we were all like a bit nervous walking to the show. Then we see, as we're reaching the venue, right, we see Shamraj from Tambi KCL. And he, like in typical like Tambi KCL fashion, he has this guy up against the wall, like holding him by the collar against the wall. And he's like saying something to him. And we were like, what the fuck is going on there? You know, this
I
gig
remember
venue. Yeah, I remember. And then he said some shit, and then he just dropped him. And then he walked towards us. I think he was going back to the coffee shop. He walked towards us and he just went, hey, are you guys here to play? And we're like, what the fuck, Tambi KCL? Like, yeah, we're here to play. He's like, okay, if that fucker asks you to pay anything to play the show, you tell him to fuck off. Then we're like, okay, you know.
G, man.
Yeah,
G
like
move
real-
right
So,
there.
Sham
Yeah.
does not look like that kind of guy, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he totally is.
Yeah, I think he's
Pretty
just
cool.
super passionate, and he was like
Yes,
really
straight
like,
up.
yeah, he believed in the rock and roll
Yeah.
spirit really until today also. Yeah, so then that's when we met them. We were like, we actually wanted to play the show because we heard about you guys, and they were super kind and super sweet. So they found out we were a new band. And Karan, the drummer, I think his birthday just passed also, so happy
Oh,
birthday, Karan.
alright.
Yeah. He was the one who actually messaged us. He was like, if you guys want to take this seriously, you can come and meet me. I think it was 2 days later at Esplanade. We met at Harry's, and he sat down and he talked to us about what as a band we need to prepare. You know, he's like, cause you guys can play and all that. So go like do a press kit, go and prep like all kinds of stuff. He introduced us to Tarani, who is also one of like Tarani plays for Tambi KCL now. He's a guitarist. He introduced us to Tarani to start recording and stuff. So thanks to them, right, we really got into. We had all the right access, like the places to go to help us grow. Yeah.
Nice. And Sham is coming up with a new project, right? Soon.
Yes.
I'm not
yeah,
wrong,
I think he's dropping a cover right on the 1st of December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one.
Same. Yeah. He's one of Singapore's best vocalists.
Sham,
100%.
Sham, you the man, bro.
Yes.
Shit. And you know, it's weird because I don't really hear this from other bands, but you know, you guys have stage names, or many people give you, you know, like the Alchemist, the Commander, the Prodigy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm very interested. Like, tell me more about that.
I think growing up, we are all huge Avenged Sevenfold fans, and they all had stage names. And most of the bands that we listened to, guys like Slash, you know, these guys, they had stage names. And of course, initially it sounded corny to have like stage name, but we did have like our initial stage names when we were like 15, 16 that weren't like The Architect. So it was like Pravin Vintage,
Harry Valentine.
Harry Valentine.
Wow,
before, you
that
know.
name though.
Yeah,
Because
so-
all the girls used to go after him back then in
Damn,
school.
no, they
Yeah.
said
So
Harry
like-
Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had the kind of stage names, but when we started writing Life of Creation, I mean, personally, this is how I feel. It's like when I'm doing different things, I feel like a different person. It's like when I'm working out, I have to be this kind of person. When I'm here I'm another person. So when I'm doing Heaven Brought Me Here stuff, like when I'm writing, I tend to get into this mode whereby, okay, I'm here on a mission, I'm not writing for fun. I want to transform my thoughts into words that can, sort of empower, give knowledge to the people. So I had that kind of thoughts when I was writing Life for Creation. And I always thought, okay, the alchemist turns copper into gold. So I thought of, I'm turning my thoughts into words. So I had that, okay, I'm an alchemist, man. This is how I'm transforming things, writing songs. And then works out for everyone in the band, actually. Because besides playing instruments for the band, we do have different roles that we do in the band. Like, for example, all the artwork in the band, he does it. So every single artwork that you see on Heaven Brought Me Hell's pages is done by Pravin. So he's the architect, so to speak. So he does the artwork, and when it comes to music, he sort of gives new ideas, I think. So that's what he does. So we'll be in the studio recording stuff, and he'll be the guy who's creative enough to know, like, okay, maybe you should try this, try that. So he sort of, it became like a personality I felt that fitted most of them. And then his was natural because he started playing guitar since he was like 6 years old. So I think for a guy to be 16 and you've been playing guitar for 10 years, I was like, dude, man, you are like the prodigy for sure.
I expected that.
Yeah, prodigy, man. So we gave him that prodigy name.
Yeah, it's very well deserved. Personally, I think it's very well deserved.
So Benson is the commander, because among the 5 of us, I think Benson is heavily the guy that has the most ideas when it comes to structuring of songs. The initial backbone to the structure and stuff like that. And he owns the ship lah. So basically the recording studio is his. We call it the spaceship. So this guy is the commander of the spaceship. So he runs the show.
Yes.
And Hari is the engineer. So he studied engineer. But
Fitting.
he's engineer. But yeah, pretty much Hari writes most of the background to the song. Like the backbone. He comes up with the structure, bass line, stuff like that. And then we'll work on it. So they are like the spark lah, I would say, and then we sort of execute all the ideas. So I think that's sort of how the band names came about.
True.
Right?
And I also think that it's not just necessarily related to like our music. It's also the kind of names we adopted just as the people that we are in our day-to-day lives as well. Like I always think that Hairi has like a very unique way of like approaching situations in life, like moments and stuff like that. And usually whenever I'm like confused about something in my life, I tend to go to him for advice.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, it's the truth, brother. Anytime, man. And there are times when I'm on my own and like I just think to myself like, okay, what would Heidi think about this situation? Like, because the way he looks at these things is like he's really damn good at being able to take even like a potentially negative situation and just completely extract the pure like lessons and the beauty of why that is happening. So that's probably why we also decided he's the alchemist, that he really knows how to switch everything around. And Hyrule is just literally the prodigy because you see him play guitar. I think on the album a lot of people might not know this, that a lot of the guitar solos that he writes are like, they don't take very long to write, but they sound like someone has spent like a week
it's pretty
to write
intricate,
it.
man, the riffs and
So like, he will be in the studio and we'll have like the part, right? We can just sit down for half an hour and like he'll be playing something and I'll just be like, oh bro, maybe you try that, maybe you try this, and he'll do it and it will just come together so quickly and so smoothly. So that's why you really are the prodigy, and like I'm the architect, because like I'm the clown like in the studio, like like doing all this kind of stuff.
I guess it's good that you guys have your own roles and it more or less came naturally, and you guys just fit in perfectly.
Yeah,
that's good.
I thought it sounded cool lah. I mean, to be like a character, you know what I mean?
That's true. We did actually have like this idea initially for like the album, for a photo shoot or something to sort of like create like a character profile for each of us.
You should do that, man.
Yeah, probably
probably something worth looking into.
But I don't know. But what do you think we would look like as like futuristic architect?
Because you're talking about the spaceship, and also I guess you have the more futuristic theme.
Yeah, like aliens do.
Aliens,
space, space, planets, futuristic. I think I can see it happening. You just need to approach the correct designer lah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, artist.
True lah. And that's another thing. So actually, we will, because we usually all of these external collateral for the band, we still usually just do it ourselves. So like Harith is also the engineer because he does a lot of like our videography work and photography work. Yeah, so we try our best to just become like one entity that is self-sustaining in terms of creating our stuff. But actually, it's a good idea. We should probably outsource creative designer, to give us like a
I mean, it doesn't
look.
help to get help from outside.
Oh, definitely 100%.
But
all
at the end
time.
of the day, you know you can fall back to yourself because yourselves are stable. I mean, you do the art for the band, he does all the videography, or just everything. Yeah, basically, you guys are self-sustainable. So, I mean, if you can get help. But if not, you know you got something to fall back on.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely. But I think it's a good thing also like to get help every now and then, just for a fresh pair of like a fresh mind to mix things up.
But I'm really excited for that to happen.
Thanks, bro.
Like that's the idea, half will be your face and then half is your personality.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, that's
I can
cool
see
idea,
that.
actually.
Half and half. No.
Half and
Yeah.
half, it's like half, and then
Yeah.
like half would be the architect, or like would be like the alchemist, and then would be like all like steampunk and shit,
Yeah.
at the side,
Yeah.
something along those lines.
That is a good idea actually.
Yeah, I can
We
see
did
it.
have
Should
like
look
actually we should definitely go and try and do that, bro.
I think it'd be a
Steampunk.
nice concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steampunk in the future. I'm pretty curious now, like what futuristic steampunk would look like. Because steampunk tends to be a bit more like classical style.
Correct.
That's
So
a good idea.
like
Yeah.
all of y'all got your own, so it's like then you got the steampunk over there, and like going the Prodigy would be like those like really mystical alien kind of like
Yeah.
those lights
Yeah.
and all, and like
Yeah.
very intricate designs, and like all the different like those crop circle designs and all. Something like that.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
actually that's a good idea, bro. Yeah, then the architect probably be like cleaner lines, just like cleaner, simple lines and stuff like that. Well, actually, this is amazing.
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
There you go, like all
Yeah.
those right angles, and then it's all just designs and all.
Yeah, geometric.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
geometry.
sacred geometry and
I think it's a good idea, man.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just
super
give for
good.
Benson like a
Yeah,
cap,
yeah.
like a commander cap. Cheers, bro. That was a great
Awesome
idea, man.
idea, man.
Yeah.
Like the commander could be a bit old school, the cowboy hat. You know what I mean? Like steers the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a authoritative hat lah, like something that shows he's
Yeah.
the commander.
I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think I was
Yeah, that's a
looking
great
into-
question, bro. Thanks.
Yes.
You just gave us
Yeah.
a brilliant
Good
idea.
idea.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to go on talking about this, but let's just move on first because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I don't want people to steal your idea.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just a side thing. I've had a lot of ideas before.
Mhm.
I talk too much about it. People stole my idea.
Oh damn.
Really? That's kind of screwed up.
That's messed up.
But Stillborn. I
Yes.
think I was talking to Kyle Ravin the show before this. He also was talking about Stillborn. They are pretty much one of the few OGs in Singapore.
Yeah.
And you guys did a cover.
Mm-hmm.
Cover the song "Words of a Priest." How from your point of view, how have bands like Stillborn paved the way, and how have they inspired the artists that are around today?
I think Stillborn is a household name in like our local subculture music, probably because they were playing before they were playing for quite a bit before we even came to the scene. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think not just as a band but as people, they also, I remember like a few of them used to organize gigs as well. So which is like the most valuable thing to have people like that in Singapore who are that passionate to organize shows and platforms for all of us to come and play as well.
Sure.
So I'm pretty sure that landed a huge hand to them becoming recognized as worthwhile legends of like our local subculture. And the Stillborn, the collab came about because Benson actually played with them for a while. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah, so that's where Stillborn entered our lives. And I think bands like them until today, right, like when we get to like they did so much for the local music scene. So when we got a chance to just like tribute them a little bit, we took the opportunity, and it turned out pretty well. They liked the cover, and we were thankful for letting them cover it for us. Letting us cover it for them. Yeah. So.
All right. So yeah, I guess every country, where they see they have those few people who paved the way for them, and but I like the fact that be it the fact that they are a band, they want to play the shit. They actually organize gigs for other bands. They give them opportunities. So I think it's not a selfish thing at all. They actually want to see the whole community grow.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you, bro. Like exactly like this entire podcast is the same vein, of like
Oh,
helping
shit.
people. Yeah, it's the truth, brother. It's the truth, So people like you and like people like Stillborn, anyone who's like doing whatever we can to promote what we have here are very valuable to the scene. So it's inevitable that you guys will be remembered in the future anyway.
Let's cheers to
You know?
that.
Yeah, cheers,
Cheers,
bro.
bro.
Alright.
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna kick in our next song is by my man Don Aaron. I mean, had him on the show. His new album Freedom is out. He just played a fucking awesome set at Bay Beats. So this one would be a song entitled Escape from Graphicity. So this is a song you want to dim the lights down to. Grab a can of beer, close your eyes, and check it out. Escape from Graphicity, Don Aaron. Peace.
Yeah.
Escape from Graphicity by my man Don Aaron. Check him out. You're gonna love that shit. Alright, so now, you guys, life of creation, more than a decade in the making. And everyone, when you go on a journey creating music, you fight, you have supporters. But let's just be real, not everyone's gonna follow you throughout your whole journey. There's people that come in, you got this, and then they leave. But who are the ride or dies that have been with you all the way? That you want to give them a shout out, or you want to tell us about how these people have helped you throughout your whole decade of making this masterpiece.
Yeah. Can you want to go first, bro?
I think first and foremost, we definitely have to give a huge shout out to families of Heaven Brought Me Hell. 100%. I think every single one of our parents are super supportive. It's like his parents will be super supportive of what he does. Benson's parents will allow us to use his space just to record stuff, and our parents will be just super supportive of what we do. So I think family is definitely top of the list.
Yep.
And friends wise, couple of shout outs to Sufi. So Sufi works very closely with our bassist Harits. He does all the videography for the band. Never expects anything back in return. He's always done it because he loves videography, he loves the band. And Rishi comes at the top of my mind.
Yeah.
He was always there at
stuff.
every single one of Heaven Brought Me Hell shows back then. Kai my cousin, he was there from the first show all the way till I think we had our last show at forgot what's the venue. Hood Bar.
Yeah, Hubba.
At
Ah,
Bugis.
Hood.
So that was the last time we
Yeah.
played a show. So he was there from first to last. Farina too. She always handles all the videography along with Sufi. So I think Heaven Brought Me Here a lot of supporters, man. Like we do have people who are doing things for us just because they enjoy doing their craft, videography, and because we're all friends anyways. So we sort of found the thing that we could do for one another. Yeah, so pretty much friends and family, man.
I would like to also shout out our family and friends for being very supportive with whatever we are doing. Like our parents, I don't think they listen to all type of genres. Like, like they don't like all the screaming or just heavy noises, but they still like open the songs and listen to it.
They
So-
play it when guests is
Yeah.
at home. It's like when we have our aunties, uncle come,
Really?
and
And
then
they
they'll
were
be like,
like,
hey,
"It's like
abang
so-"
got band, right? Come show your
So
auntie.
I love the support.
I was
man.
like,
Yeah,
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 it's
that's
so awesome. But then suddenly it gets funny lah. I mean, you are playing, your aunties are there listening, you screaming. It's like, nah. I was like, okay,
Yeah lah, but
auntie.
yeah lah. And also my sister, cause if I don't see her play, I think it was him and her. I think they were playing backcountry in the living room when I was
Shut
like
up,
6 years old or something. I think I won't be here also. Because I started
That's
playing
beautiful,
because
man.
I saw both of them play and thought it's like, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yes.
Because of the prodigy, bad country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think a pretty cool story we should share was I think it was his first few days in primary school. I think primary 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 6 years old, primary 1 lah.
so it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
primary 1. So me and him. So we were already close friends back then.
So
So
we used to meet
decided-
every day.
So we used to meet every day. So we were on the way to fetch him from school. So this was what literally he told him because he was already playing guitar at 6 years old. You know? So fetch him from school. Praveen was like, okay, Harry, one day you are definitely gonna be playing with me. And that was something that he drilled because Praveen was always at my place. We were like writing music and stuff. So every time when Harry's there, 6-7-year-old kid playing guitar, Praveen would drill it like, hey, you know, one day you're gonna be playing with us. And then
Was this your plan?
Yeah, it was.
Did you
So
set in
manifested,
motion
man.
this all the way that you know something like what Batman would do, like, okay, I got a plan, I'll just subconsciously, what are you gonna play with us?
Yeah.
2 days later, what are you gonna play with us?
Yeah.
Guitar. What are you gonna play with us? So you orchestrated this.
I think there's
The
universal type, the
I
architect,
never
man.
know you said
yeah,
you
the architect, man, he created this.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was pretty cool actually. Like we were like whenever we used to go over to his place to write, like we used to go and write and like just do like hang out a lot. And Hari would just be there, like just practicing the guitar and not practicing the guitar sloppily or anything. Like I literally observe him playing it, trying each time. Right, like the growth of like his playing was almost like ridiculous, you know. And I'll be like, wow, this guy is like amazing and he's so young. I'm like, definitely have to scout him and we have to keep him for like our
Scout.
band.
You better chop lah for the people.
Yeah, sure. Before someone else gets him, and so now it all worked out. I'm very happy
10
to have
years
him.
later.
Yeah, 10 years later.
Never too late, never too late.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shit, alright,
Yeah, like I still think until today it still blows my mind that you're 17, and you play with like the mastery of someone who's practiced for 10 years already. It's incredible.
Yes, we play about 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you play like someone who actually practiced properly in the 10 years, not just
Yeah, so
anyhow.
because I get what you're trying to say, because you know when you're a kid you don't really play properly.
Mhm.
Like you give someone from a 7-year-old to 17 years old, and you get someone from 17 to 27. You
Yeah.
would expect the 17 to 27-year-old to play better because of the maturity
Yep.
and all. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I get what you're trying to say from that young an age to now, and then how the learning, how steep his learning curve was. Then shit, prodigy.
You are, bro. You are.
It's fitting.
100%.
I gotta say, like, family is very important, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's good, especially coming from, you know, us Asian family. You don't listen to the shit we play lah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and the fact that you all say they will play it in the house when like guests come,
Yeah.
like, what, that
It's really
is
cool, man.
really
Yeah.
top notch support, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my aunts also I also shout out my family most importantly. My parents, you know, like they always silently supported me. Like they don't listen to the music, but like on Christmas, for example, like one of the most memorable and important gifts of my life was my parents bought me a Marshall amp. Like which was their way of just showing me that, you know, they really support me, and I still keep the amp until today. I still use it. So family most important. My aunties as well, like when we go for Christmas parties all, then they'll be like, oh, you know, Praveen, my son plays in a band. And then they'll be like, no, and I'm like, auntie, don't play the song. Please just don't play the song. You know, it's okay. Then they'll be like, no lah, why, son? I want to support. Then they'll play for like the first like the first 30 seconds or something. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's not really my thing. I'm like, yeah, auntie, I know it's not gonna be your thing. But thank you so much anyway for doing that.
Yeah, pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, super sweet. Then just some people I would like to shout out also, like to really thank definitely the Tambi KCL guys. Those guys really always have been there with us, Shamraj and Karan. All of the other people, like, now it's a bit funny because I'm in the same band with them, Entropy. So I definitely want to shout out Tipa and Nita as well.
Yes.
From like from day one, they have been huge supporters of HBMH, and they always like, it's I always feel very blessed whenever I hang out with them, and they just mention stuff about HBMH, and like, it makes you feel very proud of like the fact that you're creating something that like resonates with them as well. So they are really ride or die people. Tipa's girlfriend, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, sorry. Tipa's girlfriend, Natasha. Natasha, she's also like, she basically manages Entropy. Funnily enough, the first time I ever met her, she looked at me, she's like, "Hey Praveen, you play for Heaven Brought Me Hell, right?" I'm like, but it was during our hiatus, and I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Damn, you guys need to come back." Like the first time I met this person, and I was just like blown away that like how far we actually reached people. So friends like her as well who've always supported us. And there's one super special person that I really want to mention. Her name is Maisha Ghani. She's like this incredible person. Like she used to come for gigs and all back then, and I think she's been a very big part of like local music as a supporter and as a friend to everyone. I found out that when we were initially starting out and we were playing shows and all that, and we had our like demos, she would actually burn CDs, like her and her friends, they would burn CDs of local bands, and so she burned like a bunch of HBMH CDs as well. And when they went to Australia for a music festival, she would go and give out our CDs to everyone there. Yeah.
So what's she doing now?
I'm not too sure what she's doing now. I don't think she has any like musical projects, but like she's still there, like she's still around in the scene. Every now and then she'll pop up with like a really sweet message of like support and encouragement.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so really shout out to her. That's such a kind thing to do, and we
shout
understand
out,
you remember like back then during those days, bro, like burning a CD itself is already like a time-consuming process to like
put this song, that song, then leave it inside the bloody CPU for like 20-30 minutes.
Exactly. And doing doing things like that is such with absolutely no like asking of any kind of reward or anything. Just
I like
purely
people
support.
like
100%, bro. So shout out to her.
Very humbling, man. It's like
It is.
when I found out about it,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I didn't know somebody would actually do that for us. So it was
Yeah.
like really humbling, man.
It is super humbling. I think after a while we hear this kind of nice words, and it makes us feel like we have a certain responsibility to like to not, how do you put it, like not don't like, there are these people supporting us anyway, just we always have to be responsible enough to like be grateful for it and use it to fuel us.
That's true.
Yeah.
Alright, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's nice. And life of creation. It's the name itself. People give names to albums and all. But what I think life of creation is just has a very deep feel to me. And knowing you guys and how you are, there's always meaning to all the stuff. It's like I think life of creation is something with a lot of blood, sweat, tears in it. You took a really long time to produce this and self produce. And like how does this work? Your creative process. How does that happen with Heaven Brought Me Hell into this special project that you now have?
I think we as a band, right, Heaven Brought Me Hell, we are super fortunate enough to have our own recording studio, that's for sure. So shout out to Benson. He actually pimped out his whole entire room to make it into a recording space. I think he spent like good 40k. I think I'm not sure how much the guys spent, but it was it's really quality stuff.
Yeah.
So it's given us the privilege, I would say, to whenever there's an idea that comes up, we can always show up to just record our own stuff. So it makes it slightly easier to not really think about costs, I think, because that was one of the main things we were thinking about when we were growing up recording songs.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was about $150 a song, but right now it's all free.
Yeah, I remember even with the $150, like, so just a quick sidetrack story to that. Right?
Yeah.
Growing up with like this $150 recording, we were all in poly. So we all
That's like
definitely
$1 million bucks, man.
Yeah, it's like,
That's
like
true, man.
exactly.
$150 back then.
Yeah.
Shit, bro.
$150 was like gold to us, and because we all in poly, so, and we really just love making music, so we would basically save up whatever allowance we had, which was probably, I think each of us used to get like $50 a week anyway in poly, around there.
Yeah.
Like sometimes more, sometimes lesser actually, but we would save all of the money throughout like the Monday to Friday, And then on Saturdays, just so we can spend for the recording, we would pay like however much we can for the recording, and then we'll be left with like coins, like, like legit like 30 cents per person or 60 cents per person, and we would all pool together those coins over the next 2 days of recording, like Saturday and Sunday. We would literally just survive on like 150 loaf of bread and like 2 cans of tuna, just to record.
That is fuck. That's really an origin story. Man.
But it's really dope, man. It's
Yeah.
like the thing about that now, and to see how easy it is for us to actually record stuff.
Yeah.
And to see 5 guys, okay, including Tarani, right? You
Yeah,
did share
Tarani.
the tuna with
Shout
us.
out. Yeah.
So to have like 6 guys sharing like a loaf of bread with a few cans of tuna, I think just recording songs the whole day, that was pretty dope, man.
Yeah.
It's a good memory.
It is.
Even though it was a bit trying back then, it was like, fuck man, I wish I had like some better food than
Yeah.
tuna to eat during recording. But it's
That's
good.
true. Yeah, and it was also because I think that's another reason why we still managed to stay very close friends
Yeah.
until today, is because we went through stuff
Stories
like
like
that.
that.
It's because of
Yeah.
the struggle. I
Yeah.
think it comes to a point where you need to have gone through struggles like that
Yeah.
to become who you are.
That's right.
You know, if you never had the struggle, then you take things for granted.
That's right.
100%. Yeah. So, sorry, you were saying, bro, about like recording now in the
Yeah,
studio.
now it's that easy, I think. Recording phase wise, I think we as a band too, we naturally have a lot of ideas, so we can show up in the recording studio fresh and we just record a song like then and there. Or we could also have a song that's just being sent to us, like right now, WhatsApp, boom, okay, one guy, okay, guys, I got a song, man, like, okay, I'll be checking it out, they will just fix things up like that. So I think recording process for Life of Creation especially was pretty smooth, man. Because we don't have any creative differences, that's for sure. I think any idea, personally, I feel is accepted. Because I think when it comes to writing music, there's no right or wrong. I feel it's just a way of you expressing how you feel is best on the instrument. So whoever comes out with ideas naturally accepted in the band.
Yeah.
So whatever you hear on Life of Creation, there wasn't any second thought or third thoughts to it. It was just something that, hey, I got an idea. Okay, let's do it, man. And then and there.
Same frequency lah, basically. On you guys.
Yeah.
So someone comes up with something like, fuck, I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like that. It was like that smooth, I think, for Life of Creation.
I also think that a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of reaching that point where we could make songs like this was in the background scenes of like us just living our lives together as band and as friends. Like we have all literally at different points in time literally like bled and stuff for this, like you say blood, sweat and tears, right? It's
Literally
actual
lah.
blood, yeah, like getting into like fist fights and stuff, not with each other, but stuff about the band revolving into getting into like fist fights and stuff, and other like members getting like injured and things like that, and we all of us going through it together. Life of Creation is pretty much the encapsulation of
Some of all of that lah.
of how we all felt and what we've learned and how far we've come. And in the studio wise, like again also recording was exactly the theme about like the album, which is not really having any ego, trying to relinquish your ego to understand clearer. When anybody came up with anything, or when we tried to put together any kind of ideas, it was not a matter of like pushback or anything. It was literally a matter of like, okay, we take this, maybe this is not the exact idea, but how can we grow this, how can we change this, and so then we start adding stuff into
You don't
that.
shut each other down lah.
Very open to
not at all.
each
Yeah,
other.
I think that's very healthy, as opposed to having a culture of it's like a dictator, like no, I want it done, it has to be this way.
yeah.
Well, I like it lah. It's I think that like what you guys doing is the same. There's more than one way up the mountain.
Yeah.
You have a particular riff, maybe 1 or 2 notes might not gel well, but you can always work around it and still use that main riff with just a few tweaks here and there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I somehow feel from the stories you tell me that a lot of who you are today and how you write and how you gel with each other come from the fact that you guys have been through shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we bring a lot of things.
So that
So
that
much
bond is there, that like literally brothers, and y'all. It comes to a point where you can more or less know what each other thinking. Like you play, I
that's
kind of
right.
like that. That's what I would have thought of.
Yeah.
I think it's a very important thing for a band to have.
Yeah, I think most importantly we were friends first before we even decide to like be in a band writing stuff together. So we were like friends first. So I think that's what makes everything else easier. Because the music, okay, of course it's a definitely an important part of our lives now, but for the most part, being friends is what makes the music happen. You know what I mean?
Just
Cheers,
friends.
man.
ah.
Just the friendship, man. Just new friends too.
Shit,
like
fuck
today.
yeah.
That's right.
New friends. Shit. Add them on Friendster.
Yeah, the whole thing about going through so much shit together, I think it is probably like you hear it very clearly in the album or anything new that we put out. You can just hear the bond that we have, like, you know, like I don't know how to explain it. It's an intangible thing, but some of my friends who have listened to it can hear like you guys sound like you all are like one collective entity, you know, that's like coming through the headphones. So very grateful for that.
I think it's nice.
Sucks in the moment, but it's amazing for now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, nothing is free. Everything costs something, lah.
Yeah.
But I think it's the price was well paid for, lah, for you guys.
Thank you, bro.
This current album, and you know how you guys work everything together and all. But you know there has to be that particular song that was the most fun to write, the most difficult to write, and you know and like the most hardest to play. You know, so I mean, if you could, you know, just let us know, you know, which was the most fun, the most fun song, you know, the most hardest to play, and the most hardest to write.
Okay, Heidi, you can go first.
Okay, so for me, I think The Surrender was probably my favorite to record and write, because I think we wrote it like in the studio, right? Most of it were like just improv. So we just sat down, then we just play the riffs, then we recorded. So that was pretty fun. I think the hardest one to record probably would be an Epiphany or Once Gods.
I agree.
Yeah, with weird timings. And Once Gods, that riff is just weird.
Weird as you wrote that.
Purposely, right?
But it was fun.
Yeah.
Alright. Epiphany, Once God.
I think for me personally, the way I write lyrics, I've never really had like a sitting. I don't really have spent like an hour sitting down writing lyrics. I'm more of the guy that sorts of let the lyrics come to me. So yeah, shout out to Farina also, because when I was writing Love for Creation, most of the lines came in through my sleep, as crazy as it sounds. So it will be like a line that comes to me in my sleep, and I'll wake up like 4 in the morning and I have the line fresh in my head, and then I'll wake her up. I was like, babe, you need to listen to this line because I don't want to forget about it, and then she will remember. And then that's pretty much most how the lines were written for Love for Creation.
Yeah.
But
it took long, but it was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it. It was something that I wanted to try, not forcing something out, but just letting it come to you. And
That's very important.
And I figured it worked pretty well, man, because Zero and Memento Mori was pretty much the smoothest, I think, when it came to the lines. I just needed to have the idea Memento Mori, and then the lines keep coming in. I just write it down. But the toughest one that I definitely had to spend a lot of time sitting was an Epiphany, just because of the time signature. So it's a usually write like 4 basic lines for the verse, 4 basic lines for the chorus, but this guy had like 5, and then we had 7. So I was like, okay, I need to count in my head how many lines I need to write.
And all,
So and Epiphany definitely was the toughest song. Most fun song is Memento Mori, man. I just love the energy of the song. Most favorite song to jam, like the moment the beat kicks in, that's it, man. I lose myself most of the time.
That's true.
Playing Memento Mori.
It's such a
hype song. I think for me, the first one is hardest song to write.
Up to you. You can go. The hardest song to write, hardest song to play, and like the most fun song, you guys.
Okay, I think the hardest song to write was probably Zero, actually. Because I think we spent the most time writing Zero, because it was the first song that pretty much launched our comeback into like doing the album. And I think because at that point in time we all hadn't been playing together for a long time, and so we were all in the studio just getting back into the groove of stuff. Yeah, all super rusty. So writing Zero was, even though the skeleton was there, trying to get it to sound like how we did now was a bit more challenging, because I remember we were stuck at one point in time. There's this transition right before the ending breakdown. Now you hear it's just open note 0, but like the whole time when we were writing it, right, we were yeah. And then I remember, but then we spent like, I think close to 3 days in the studio just trying to figure out that section, and we couldn't. And then I just went like, guys, you know what? When all else fails, right, let's just go back to the open note. Just go back to the open note and drum interlude, and then it worked out in the end. Yeah. So that was probably the hardest song to write. I think most fun song to write for me personally was an Epiphany, because the demo title for an Epiphany was Ghost of Battalion 666.
Fuck, I love that title.
And that was written by Haritz, actually, our bassist. So he wrote that song quite a long time ago.
I think when we were like 15, man. I remember hearing that song when I was in the school uniform.
Same, it was like the Guitar Pro MIDI,
It was probably the oldest song we had in the album. It was like a good 13-year-old song.
Yeah, and we decided to revisit it. And I remember that like he wrote the song after playing Call of Duty, because he was like so inspired by the game, you know. So the part that he had actually was the original part. You know, there's the drop of the song itself before the intro. That was where the song initially started, and we were trying to figure out how to like bring that song into the life of creation type of like sound. I remember just one night we were discussing it, and then I went back home. And I was thinking, okay, I'll go some battalion. Like, okay, the beginning could be a bit creepy, you know, like maybe like the dead soldier walking through the battlefield, seeing all of his dead brothers. And like, I remember that like the number one band that always does songs like that is Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
You know, they write military pieces. So I went back to listen to A7X stuff, and then I was like, okay, actually, I think like a cool, like nice, clean intro. Then for the drop to hit even harder would have been nice. So that was damn fun to write, like to work on that. And then the hardest song the most fun song to play for me is Once Gods. Yeah, I think I love playing Once Gods. Yeah. Hey, but I told you 10 years ago, bro. Okay.
You were warned. Right? You had 10 years to plan this.
Yeah. Once Gods is a damn fun song to play. I think just for a live show. So it's pretty bouncy in the beginning, and then the ending is like very melodic as well. Yeah.
All right. Nice. And you know, we were talking about fun songs. There's this one band where, if I were to train, usually my warm up would be one of their songs. Sun Eater.
Oh, Sun Eater, nice.
Sun Eater. I usually warm up to Dead Weight. Fucking love Dead Weight. The way it sounds. The start of the song makes you feel like you're sitting in a bar having a beer. You know, I always warm up to the song. And this current song, Undercurrent, I think is their latest release. Okay. So you guys want to check out
Sun Eater.
Undercurrent by Sun Eater. Check it out. Peace. Hope you're not swept by the undercurrent of Sun Eater. Fucking love that shit. Go check them out. COVID. It's about the main thing everyone talks about now. And because of COVID, people in the scene have tried to work around it. Have all these live recorded shows. I mean, it's always different because you don't have an audience. But Bay Beats was just there, and then they had audience. They had people watching. Slowly, fingers crossed, everything is opening up. Will we see Heaven Brought Me Hell on the stage again? What have you guys got planned for that?
Okay, we are currently recording our second album.
Oh fuck yes!
So we've got all the songs done actually. So this is like the first
announcement. Wavy Grayvy podcast.
That's right, Wavy Grayvy podcast. So Heaven Brought Me Hell's second album is on the way. So we've done 10 demo songs. We have actually done one song that is
the single.
The single of the album is almost done.
It'll probably drop by end of the year lah. The new single.
Can't wait
we'll
for
have a
that
new
shit. It'll be a
song.
good Christmas present.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Maybe a new song next month. And being in the band for me, playing shows is definitely one of the reasons I want to be in the band. I've always loved being on stage, seeing performing in front of a lot of crowd. So I would say never, man. Like I'll never know. So if it comes, it will come, and it will definitely come for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck yes! All right.
True. I also think the only thing that will probably stop us from playing live shows anytime soon, other than COVID, is probably where we all are in life right now. Just in a bit of a transitionary stage. So like our drummers are dead, so young kid, like it's a bit difficult to plan for live shows and stuff. And our bassist just got married, so congratulations, bro.
Congratulations, brother.
Congratulations, Harit. He just got married as well, so that newlywed timeline and all that.
Commitments lah.
Yeah, so probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, if shows open up, I would be super happy to be playing like by February next year, so bro. It'll be damn show.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool to play him.
Yeah,
Because I've always thought, because my sister used to play in this band too. So I mean, it's just crazy to think about it.
Yeah.
Like I've played with my sister before, and then he is replacing our sister now to be able to play him. I think we need to make it happen.
Yeah.
That'll be cool, man.
Wanted to perform. I never performed before, so other than the auditions, that's all.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to feel the energy.
Can't wait
from
to
all
see
the
you play your
crowd.
solos, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's like we've always thought that his first show will be with us until he started playing with Experiment.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. That's like
Bittersweet
yeah,
lah. It was
bittersweet
bittersweet lah.
teaser warm up.
Yeah.
It's
It's
alright.
a good practice.
Go practice.
Yeah.
It will happen. So I gather, commitments or never, but you guys didn't say no. So it's just a matter of time.
Yep. 100%.
I think also you guys are really itching to get on the stage again.
Yeah.
I mean,
feel
you've
the
got
itch.
so much to showcase, and and people need to hear the fucking the brilliance that you guys have.
Thanks,
People
bro.
really need to hear that.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we can't wait to go out also. Like I think that's probably my favorite part of being in a band. Like just playing live shows. Like highway also is the greatest drug in the world.
Yeah.
Playing live shows.
Nice. And we've touched on this earlier on about how your families are your biggest support. Because contrary to what we just said, Asian families always go and study, go get a job. What's this one play in a band? Cannot make money lah.
Yeah.
It's like we hear these stories so many times, but it's different for you guys. Maybe can you just elaborate a bit more? On how your family played a part to help you guys in Heaven Brought Me Hell.
I think we are super blessed, that's for sure, firstly, because I think our parents don't really fall under the stereotype category of being a typical Asian family. I mean, definitely Asian families is a typical stereotype, right? Like, you gotta study, you gotta focus on education, the cert's gonna get you somewhere. But I guess for our family, they value something else that's a bit more different, like passion for life, I think. I was 7 years old when my mom bought me my first Green Day live CD.
Mom bought you.
Yeah, so I think that was my first ever connection with something band related. So it's like I was 7 watching Green Day live in I can't remember which one it was, but that sort of sparked me. And then at 7 years old, I remember clearly telling my mom that, hey, this is something cool that I want to do when I grow up, not knowing that it's something crazy to think about. And my mom clearly told me that you can actually do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
And
Fuck,
I think
bro. Nice.
I think that's something to hear when I was 7 was super impactful. I still remember it till today, that you can literally do anything you want. And I think that's the difference between the value of understanding passion of life and the value of falling into the stereotype understanding that education is the know all be all. You know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily true. I think as long as you focus and you are staying committed to what you are doing, love and knowledge is gonna take you pretty far.
I guess
man.
your mom managed to strike the balance lah.
Yeah, she
Because it's not
definitely did.
all into fucking no, you must study, you must.
Yeah, they never forced me once actually. I think my parents never forced me once.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They've never been that sort of parents. They've always been pushing us when it comes to music. Because me and him will be talking music a lot at home. So we'll be there just listening and say, oh, okay, this is what they are doing. It's fine.
Probably jamming together at home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
sometimes.
chilling. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me also a similar, like we are very grateful for each other's parents also. My parents have always been super supportive and open, you know, like they are like, I just have to let them know that they're coming over to write or jam or anything. Like the same way we go to anyone's house,
Yeah.
we're always welcomed, you know, you're treated like family. Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling. And my parents never necessarily also forced me to study or anything, but they always put emphasis on it in terms of like securing my future. So I guess they were a bit more, as supportive as they were a bit more realists as well, which is an important perspective to
That's true.
get anyway. Yeah, and then I just remember that like, but I love music so much, and I think when the first time they realized how much I truly loved it was when I got expelled from school.
How did that happen? Like why?
Yeah, so we were in poly back then. I got expelled from school simply because I would skip school every day for like close to 6 months, and just go play guitar. Like I would skip school, I'll go to like some random pondok near my house after my parents leave from the bus stop. Then I'll go back up, take my guitar, and I'll just go and play guitar and practice. And back then, I don't know if Benton's parents know this, but like he also used to skip school with me.
Bro, if they didn't know, you pauto with it, bro. That's it, no.
Yeah. So it'll be me and him like usually just chilling, writing songs throughout the day and stuff, and like just being rascals lah, but like, you know, about our music and stuff like that. And then so when I got expelled, my parents found out like, you know, like why I was doing it and stuff like that. So I think at that point in time they understood truly that like this is something that's very important to me. But at the same time, you know, they were always just very cautious in letting me know about like having my options open.
I think
So-
that's fair enough, yes.
Yeah, so that was like that was the wonderful way of like, I'm very grateful for that kind of, to come from that kind of family lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for all of us because there was just a lot of love going around.
Yeah,
And to be honest, I think
Yeah.
if there was a word to really describe Heaven Brought Me Hell, it's really like a family. I feel like we do have a lot of extensions of the band that is actually doing something that's committed to the band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a family-based band.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys are lucky at that point. You're one of the few who have external support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that are tied to you. Not as opposed to external support by, you know, you have people funding you, you have engineers, no, but your everything it's together, and even your external support are still tied to you, relations and all. So it just it makes the bond stronger, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Alright, that's good. That's good. Perfect. And I'll bring you one more song.
Okay.
Let's get it.
Let's do
Gonna female fronted band,
Nice.
Volky.
Okay.
Alright, so this song is entitled Breaking Point by Volky. Check this one out. Peace.
Freedom
That was Volky with Breaking Point. Fucking love that shit. I will say it again. Check them out. Unite Asia, a metal subculture site. They quoted saying that, Heaven Brought Me Hell, this song, Life of Creation, is under less than a minute, but will pierce through your hearts and your souls. This song is, to be exact, 45 seconds. So when you guys were writing it, and I have personally heard the song, and I love it. I've played it many, many, many times.
Thank you.
So what made you guys go in all your whole album, your writings, like, fuck it, let's do a song under a minute, but this shit is going to speak louder than hell. Like, how you guys come up with that?
I think just a little backstory of the song. It used to be like the opening track that we played before our shows. I think when we were playing back in 2012 to 2015, there was like a techno version of the song that was like the intro to our live shows.
Okay.
So when we were writing Life of Creation, we wanted to have the same feel, just like it would be at a show, whereby we have like the intro song first before you drop into the first actual song. So we thought like, okay, we love that techno version that we had like 5-6 years ago. Then we said, okay, how about we have something similar? So just one fine day, Benson, I think he wrote it pretty quick, man. Benson's like
Benson is a genius.
he's a genius lah. So our drummer Benson
Genius.
truly is the genius. He can come up with songs in like 5 minutes or a minute. So he's that kind of guy that you can sit down with him. He just needs the computer there. He just fix things up and the song is done. So
sorry, to add on to your point, right? He's also the main person that does almost all of the orchestral compositions, like all of the strings and everything is usually Benson. Yeah, he's the one who understands all those melodies. So he's a fucking genius.
he's a genius lah. So when we wanted something like that, that guy literally just flipped the whole techno version up into the vibe that will suit Life of Creation. And then we just needed a few lines that I believe when I was writing it, it was actually during the first circuit breaker. So I think it was something new for the world to handle, I feel. So I needed something to write because the environment around me wasn't as positive. I think everybody was a bit feeling a bit down, like COVID situation. I felt that, okay, this is how I can contribute. This is how the band can contribute. So we can try to contribute in the least amount of time as we can, like less than a minute. And hopefully it just gets into people's minds, man. So
Most definitely will. I think it will, because I'm going to play it for the guys right now.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
So I want you guys to check out Life of Creation. Pay attention to this. The timestamp is there. Repeat as many times as you can, and then we'll continue after this. Life of Creation by these awesome people.
Thank you.
Peace.
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Boom, Life of Creation. I don't understand how something less than a minute, it really strikes a chord, and these guys came out with their masterpiece. And now just let me cheers to the song.
Cheers,
bro.
cheers, man. Cheers, man.
Deserves a cheers.
Yes.
And before we go too deep, and you're too sentimental and too into the zone. Let's bring up Jeevan. I mean, he won't be here today. He's a busy man, but as usual, he has set up his jokes for you guys. First one. Okay, this one is a very Jeevan's got a fan. It's a very simple one. Christmas around the corner. What's the difference between snowman and snow woman?
Oh,
Like, what's the
I think I know
difference?
the answer.
The
but
carrot
I'll
is
let you-
I don't know. I'll say the carrot.
Yeah, the cone, right? The nose.
The nose.
Almost around there.
So just say the answer. or-
Just say
I
Yeah,
just say.
It's just snowballs.
Yeah,
snowballs. That was a good one.
That was good.
I was just thinking of the cone, right?
Yeah, same.
Fucking hell.
Snowballs.
And then like, and another question, you know, Santa he delivers presents and shit. So why is Santa's sack always so big? Jeevan wrote the jokes, not me.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Because he only comes once a year.
Exactly. There we go. There we go.
Yes, love it, dude.
Santa
man.
only comes once in a year.
Epic.
What a good joke.
This was not really a joke, but a little, just a little story.
Okay.
So Jeevan, I don't know if Jeevan has a girlfriend right now, but this is what he told me. His girlfriend asked him to pass her the lipstick, but in the end he passed her a glue stick. So ever since until that day, she hasn't spoken to him yet. So I think Jeevan must be a happy man. Don't fucking quote me on this one. Shit. Alright, I got two more, but these two are fucked up. Fucked up in a way that I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you call an orphan taking a selfie? This one is
portrait.
yes. Yes, bro, you fucking on point, bro. Fucking family picture. That's fucking fucked up, man. Jeevan, you're full of shit, but I love you. Last one.
Oh man.
When does a joke become a dad joke? That's the answer to this one. Fucked up. When does a joke become a dad joke?
It's a fucked up answer.
Bro,
Okay.
it's fucked up, bro.
Can think.
Think that way also.
Yeah, exactly. Dark humor.
I mean, Jeevan really quite dark really lah. So
When does a joke become a dad
when does it
joke?
become a dad joke?
Well, that's what I really don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
No? Alright. When it never comes back. Fucked up, bro, I tell you.
Oh
I love that one.
That was epic, bro.
That's fucking cheers lah.
Cheers to that, bro.
Alright.
Thank you, Jeevan. That was epic, man.
Oh man. Alright, we're almost to the end. We've got a few more questions, and this one. Now podcasts everywhere. I mean, Wayvy Grayvy, I started about a year. Entropy Noisecast. You know, with all these podcasts coming up, you know, if Heaven Brought Me Hell were to have a podcast, you know, what do you think you guys would call it, and you know, what would you talk about?
Okay, to be honest, I've never thought about it before. So it's pretty cool now that you brought it up. So I think if we were gonna come up with a podcast, okay, what we normally talk as a band is definitely just pure music. I think we need to start talking about other stuff too, but for the most part it's heavily music. So I think that's what we're gonna talk about. And if there's a topic that I'm really passionate about, it's definitely about life, like going really deeper into life, like introspecting, understanding the universe on a deeper scale. I think we
Yeah,
can
I love
always
that.
elaborate, because I think there's a lot of bands in Singapore that really do touches on topics like this. I think bands like Resurrect, I think
Yeah,
I love
Resurrect,
those
Resurrect.
guys, man. I think they do have an understanding of some deeper connection with life. I think when I listen to most local bands, they do understand some of these things that we do talk about on the same level, but I've never really connected before. So I think, okay, the name
Yeah.
of the podcast will be
I'll probably call it the HBMH Spirit Cast.
Spirit.
Spirit Cast.
Yeah.
Was it Spirit Cast?
Yeah.
Spirit Cast sounds
Spirit
like that.
Cast.
Spirit Cast, yeah, casting the spirits.
Very
Yeah,
spiritual. You know, you talk about life,
yeah,
talk about
spirit
music.
cast
Very
sounds
spiritual.
Yeah, can have guest exorcisms and stuff like that.
Oh, you let me know about that, bro. I fucking watch that shit, bro. You need to exercise some motherfuckers out of me as well. Fuck.
With a lot of voice acting. It'll be pretty fun, actually, I think.
Spirit cast.
Yeah, Spirit Cast sounds
Alright,
good.
I like that. Alright,
Also
nice.
because I think that's one thing we all together usually when we hang out.
Yeah.
We tend to talk a lot about spirituality and like he mentioned the connections to the
I
universe
think that's
and
very
stuff.
important because at the end of the day, I think we are religion is religion, but religion aside, that I think that what you say spirituality, we are all connected to the universe somehow. As we are not, I don't think many people talk about it as much as it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I always like to tell people that if air had color, you'd see how connected everything is to everything else. You know.
I like that quote right there.
No, thanks. Bro. Yeah, I feel like it's usually one of the best ways to help people put into perspective. You know, like we're all literally just a part of each other.
Yeah.
Just show love.
I think that that's very important. Shit, I am looking forward. If Spirit Cast ever comes up, please let me
Yeah,
know.
we
sure,
should
bro.
go
Yeah,
Spirit
we
Cast,
should,
man.
we
Yeah, Spirit Cast sounds dope.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Alright, you know, talking about spirituality, another important thing in life is food.
Yes.
And you know, if you guys could be a dish, what would it be and why?
I think for me, I think Heaven Brought Me Hell is definitely a rojak, man.
Yeah.
We just throw everything that we have inside.
Okay, rojak is the Indian rojak or the
The
chapter,
Indian one.
the
I think
Indian.
both is the same. Both
Yeah,
mix
yeah.
a lot of different stuff inside. But I think I'm more inclined to the Indian rojak, man.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can
Put-
spice things
put
up
the
a bit.
potato, put the paru, put the I forget.
That is right.
Yeah, we're talking about Heaven Brought Me Hell. I think Heaven Brought Me Hell would probably be like sushi. Like, you know, yeah,
See how you guys connected and shit.
yeah, exactly, bro. Cause like I think sushi is like an acquired taste to some people. You know, like some people don't like it at first, but then they like it after a while. Some people like it all the time, and some people just don't like it at all. Which I think is pretty much like our music as well.
You
you
don't
know?
have fuck you, why?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I like Candy.
thank you. Yeah, sushi. That's my answer.
It's a mix.
Yeah.
Alright, I like that. Haven't brought me hell. Sushi and rojak.
Yeah, like a sushi rojak.
I can see that. I can see the sushi. You take enough. Let's say you put the sushi with the fucking, you know, the fried the prawn. Put that, then you dip in the rojak gravy.
Oh,
I
actually,
think that could work, you
It
know.
would be quite
Fusion.
Yeah,
Fusion.
Suja.
Roshi.
Roshi.
Roshi is a nice ring to it. And you know, closing this up, not really closing this up, but another important one where I ask all my guests, relationship, because we're all suckers for love out here.
Yep.
And yeah, you know, if you have any relationship advice for people out there, please, feel free to share, man.
I will go first.
Okay. He goes first.
The one with the most experience,
The most experience first.
For me, I've never been in a proper relationship, but I always feel like you shouldn't chase. Like, you should just.
Single now?
I'm
Single, huh? Prodigy over here, you better go grab it up before it's taken. Okay,
like,
continue.
you shouldn't chase for it. Like, just when it comes, it comes. And yeah, because when you desperately try to find one, then when it doesn't happen, then you'll be like, you just be sad at yourself.
I get what you're trying to say, yeah. Because when you try and chase for something, you set unrealistic expectations and views on it because it's because you want it. Therefore, the red flag see it's okay.
Yeah.
And then when okay, very deep and very it's a very tough topic to talk about coming from a very young boy who is single. He is single, and you know he knows what he's talking about, ladies.
Good job, man.
Yes. Sorry.
Who's that?
Yeah.
I think
Go for it, bro.
I think it's important to be whole first. I'm in a relationship for 7 years. So me and my partner, right, we focus on being in the moment, being present really often, such that we can sort of see if the other party is reacting or responding, if there's something that's happening. So for the most part, we focus on responding, so we don't like react unconsciously to our actions. So that is something that me and my partner go through together. I mean, we were definitely different people 4 years ago, and we grew together lah. So started off as being really wild guys, wild couple together, and then we grew up to being a bit more matured, going a bit deeper in life, and then we figured that it's important to be whole, being present, so that two wholes coming together is better than two halves coming together. You know what I mean? So
I like that. You see? Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Love yourself first, then you can love
Two
others.
holes
That's
coming.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the truth.
Love yourself first.
What's the knowledge over here? Fuck, man.
Yeah, I would say my advice would be honestly place emphasis on trust and communication. That is the two most important aspects of a relationship. Because when you enter into a relationship with someone else, you have to be able to be vulnerable 100%. It's not the easiest thing to do, and the communication aspect is so important because if you have someone that you can talk to about literally anything, and just know that this person is still going to be there and still trying to understand you and listen to you, that trust will automatically come with that kind of communication anyway. And so that's probably one of the best ways to keep a relationship going and to stay happy with each other. Like you trust each other, you talk to each other, then all will be well. The good times will be good, the bad times will be bad, but you will always have each other. That's what
I guess
think.
there will be bad times. You know, you can't have good times all the way. So
Yeah, 100%.
trust, communication. You know, two wholes coming together, not half and half. That's a very important. Of course, a lot of people think I'm half, you're half.
Yeah.
We come together.
Yeah.
But what would make more sense is you gotta be whole and she's gotta be whole, and then you come together. I think it works much better.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
and fucking don't chase, let it come.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, this
That's incredible levels of wisdom, by the way. Yeah.
that's the start of the spirit cast, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I hope you guys like whatever we talked about today, because you know I love it, and it's just on so many different levels. These guys haven't brought me hell. One of a kind band, and I'm gonna end off with my favorite song from the band. You know, and Epiphany. I mean, I had an epiphany after listening to it. And so a little story. There was once where I was cooling down after training. You know, I put on an Epiphany. I didn't realize it was on the single song repeat. So I started shadowboxing, and before I realized, it was fucking half an hour. And then I'm like, hey, why am I shadowboxing? And this song kept playing, and I'm not tired. I want to train someone. Like, just listen to this. You will be mind blown. And you know, check these guys out. Alright, Heaven Brought Me Hell. You know, that's Life of Creation. Check their album out. Spotify, give them a follow. Their SoundCloud. All the details are in the description below. And I want to thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Daryl, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so
It's
much,
been
man.
fun and a pleasure.
Definitely catch up with you guys again.
For sure, 100%.
So until the next one, you know, keep it calm, keep it cool, keep it all wavy gravy. You know I love you. You know they love you. Peace.
Peace out. Yeah.